I think we can start on that. So I'll give you my introduction. So I'm Tarun. I'm co-founder at Mezink. Look over a lot of things involving products. So I over the past 10 years, I've been involved with a lot of product teams
Hmm.
in biggest e-commerces across Asia. So worked in Bangalore for a bit, then moved to Jakarta, worked there for a bit, then moved to Kuala Lumpur, worked there for a bit, right? And all across different product teams at Flipkart,
Wow.
AirAsia, Tokopedia. So that's been my journey. And then we co-founded Mezing because we realized that social is really powerful as a distribution tool for brands as well as individual creators, right? The distribution has generally decentralized and we are finding ways to leverage that distribution. So that's what we are doing at Mezing.
Yeah, that's incredible. So similar story in a different format for us. So I'm Christian. Thank you very much for having me and for that introduction. So what we look at in a similar light is that concept of social and that concept of brand. And that comes from two sides for us, right? For both brands and creators. So creators have created their own brand, creators, influencers, social media users of all likes. And then with that brand, that personal brand online, people follow it. It's the same way that people follow Coca-Cola, they follow Evian water, they drink the coffee they drink, they wear the sunglasses they wear, they follow the people they like to follow because you buy into the brand as a user. So these creators have made brands for themselves. And I don't mean that they've gone off and spun off a new consumer packaged good brand. It's really they made that brand an identity through social. And then on the business side, businesses are brands. Brands are businesses. They create products, they offer services, and their objective is to sell those and monetize through all forms of channels. So as we've
Right.
seen in the past years, social being a massive leading driver of that marketing, of that advertising, and that new, almost decentralized approach to media buying has come in a true sense of influencer marketing and different ad buying media channel placements that didn't exist years ago. And so, similar to mention in your introduction, but in more of the US markets, we identified that gap. And that gap is a lot more in that SMB space in our eyes. So the small to medium sized businesses, how can we decentralize and really democratize influencer marketing and that channel and form of marketing for businesses of those likes? And so we set forth to do that for the brands and to create a monetization channel for creators. So once you built that brand and that identity and that social media following, now you have the ability to actually share that. And so not only can you share your own posts, but you can work with brands and monetize your following by sharing content that you've created on behalf of the brand and the brand marketing material and sharing products and services from these businesses to your audiences.
Right.
So we've built that, we've launched it. It's been live for over a year now, 10,000 active users. And we've had a great time growing and scaling that and learning everything and anything and everything creator economy focused.
Amazing. I think great summary. You have found great traction as well, right? I think
Yep.
yeah, I think all the best to you for future as well. And in that regard,
Thanks.
I think we are
Yep.
all
Thank you.
ready to jump into the questions as well, because I think we touched the surface in terms of how you really got into influencer marketing and why you thought that it's going to be a good fit, right? So that's my first question as well. In your journey as an influencer marketer, right, what really got you excited about the space of influencer marketing? How you got into influencer marketing?
Yeah, great question. This is a fun one. So like this spans like I don't know, 3/5 of my life, right? So I just turned 25 this year. So yeah, around the time I was 15. So 15 to 20, 20 to 25. Let's call it 2/5. So 40% of my life, right? 40% of my life has been spent very much online. This dates back to Tumblr, the early days of YouTube, the beginning of Facebook, obviously a couple years into Facebook at this point. But that social realm and social world. And so that's where I found myself spending a lot of time and exploring. So the concept of making new friends online, exploring new communities, sharing new thoughts, building new websites, building identities, building brands, building everything of the likes. It can all be done from a computer. And it's something that I've been very passionate about since I was a young kid, was being able to take something as beautiful and magical as like your computer and your phone, and then be able to build stuff on there and spread them out to the world. So back in the day, if you think historically, like how did people market a new restaurant in a small town? Well, they used to go and they'd print out little flyers and then they'd pass them out to people and they'd go places and they'd hand out physical flyers. You can only hand out as many flyers as your hand can put out. But on social media, we saw really quickly that it's like, or you can just go and make a post, and that post can go out to as many people as you can reach, whether that's a local a statewide, townwide, whatever level you want to say, a nationwide level. So that concept of being able to market, now that one piece of paper that you were handing out turns into one post. That one post does not just get handed out to everyone around you, it gets seen by 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, up to millions of people through digital channels. And so I found myself learning and experimenting very much in that space. And with that, building a lot of friends that were building brands, identities, becoming creators themselves. And every project I've had since I was really young was focused around influencer marketing. So if you want to build a new brand or helping a friend's, let's say it's a new sunglass brand, like these sunglasses from Chimi here, let's say that we want to promote those. Well, why don't we just get someone that fits the exact customer profile of a Chimi user that can go out and actually put these sunglasses on and on Instagram reach 1 million people? It's a lot easier. It's always been easier. And so that channel, it seemed very distant to people where people didn't understand how to do it. And so that's where myself, my best friend Dylan, our CEO, and our whole team wanted to step in and really say, look, we're going to make this easy. We're going to really democratize it and we're going to make it usable for everyone. So we really took what we learned, to bring it back to the question itself. We took what we learned and what we grew up experiencing in social, digital, media buying channels, media creation channels, and we really just put it into our platform in itself. And now everything we do is a reflection of that. So we're actually just giving people the tools and technology that we once wish we had when we first started years and years ago in the influencer and creator space.
Great story. So I think this covered few aspects which were really interesting, that it's not only about today, right? You have been experiencing this for a long time, and you started to shape it up in a way that it solves the problem for others who are now getting started in the space. You are building the right set of tools which are needed to actually leverage it in a better way. Since we talked about that, I think another related question here, right? Like it's been a long journey in terms of just evolution of social media as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how has your role as an influencer marketer shaped up over time?
Oh my God. It's changed entirely. So I think this comes with the times. So I'm going to use another example of years ago. Years ago, if you were the media buyer at Coca-Cola, if a new avenue or new channel came out and you had to invest $1 million, across a specific avenue over the duration of a quarter, you wouldn't want to test that new channel because it wouldn't perform instantaneously, right? You wouldn't be able to say, oh, this new back in the day, oh, this new magazine came out, we're going to do some buying there and we're going to see how it works. Well, now in today's age, people are jumping on marketing trends. They're jumping on opportunity. They're jumping on new avenues of approach to maximize their own success left and right. We see it all over the internet. We see it all over real life. The ripple effects it has from a small to a digital to a social to every type of community is massive. So with that, I think we take that same approach and we apply it to what we're doing and how we're executing tasks in our own marketing. And so when we see a new platform, for example, Threads came out last month. Did I love Threads to begin with? No, because is it a copy of Twitter? Yeah, is Twitter my favorite social media? It has been forever. So did I love Threads? No. Did we see it as an avenue and a channel and approach to new marketing? Absolutely. So new platforms come out. Years ago, TikTok came out. YouTube came out with Reels. Now they have different forms of live streaming. The streaming platforms from Twitch to Kick, etc. The list goes on. There's all these new places where eyeballs are flocking. And so for us, as we go to promote our business, our brand identity, our offering, our platform, etc., we do so in every single avenue that we see value in. And for us to see value, it's real users engaging, real users being viewers or social media users themselves. Where are they actually spending time reading, learning, listening, etc.? And then how can we place ourselves there? So with influencer marketing, we jumped on TikTok nearly instantaneously. We implemented that into our platform within months of it launching in the US markets. We saw great success there. We've done that across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, just the different platforms we've seen. We've looked at avenues and said, how can we implant ourselves via influencer marketing into these conversations through the content in these channels? So we pick and roll at all times, and we always are looking for new avenues and approaches for our own marketing, whether it's influencer marketing or just general social.
Amazing. Great to hear. I think the example around Coca-Cola was actually very relevant, right? Because now there is a lot of, with digital as a medium, it just changes the game altogether, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think another related question here is that if you remember any successful campaign which you drove, what was special about it? What made it really successful? Any of the brands you might have worked with before?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to give a fun example. We're going to use our own. So with Gluey, our end-to-end platform, iOS, Android, and web for both brands and creators. So once we launched it, a big goal for us is getting new brands and getting new creators onto our platform, using our platform, understanding it itself, onboarding, and then actually executing campaigns. So campaigns are brand deals. Brands launch them, creators come in if they qualify. They can apply all the contracting, the communication, the analytics, the content approval, the licensing rights, all those happen within our platform. But we looked at it and we said, well, we have this platform. Very quickly, we onboarded a couple thousand of our first creators. And at this time, we said, instead of spending across digital channels, right? Let's say $5,000, for example. Instead of spending $5,000 on Meta, which is the Instagram and Facebook suite, instead of doing that and hoping for a $5 cost per download, we're like, okay, for $5,000 at a $5 CPD, and that's high. This is an example. We thought, okay, well, we're going to average about 1,000 new creators off this program.
Right.
That's if we made that investment. We then turned around and said, why don't we use our platform for what we built it for? And so with that, we allocated the $5,000. We worked with over 80 different micro creators that were on our platform to make content both on TikTok and Instagram for Reels. So video content, talking about the platform, talking about the benefits for other creators, identifying the unique value props, talking about, you need 10,000 minimum followers, 2.5% engagement rate, US based, etc. And so what we did is not only did we get this bank of UGC, so that user generated content library to live in our platform to repurpose in our own ads, but we drove with that $5,000, we drove over 2.5 million impressions across all of the creators. We drove over 10,000 comments over every single one of the posts cumulative. And now we had all these people asking questions. What is Gluey? What is Gluey? How do I get it? How do I download? Now for us, it's just a little funnel channel for us to go in and comment and say, hey, we're right here. Download and apply. Come to our page, follow us. Here's a link in our bio. Come to our site, download our app. And we just got to build that channel. And so with that, it was one of my favorite campaigns ever because we had just spent the last year and a half building our iOS, web, and Android platforms for brands to do this with creators. And quickly upon launching, we said, we have money to invest for creator acquisition. Let's use what we built. And so we did that. We did it. There was hurdles, of course, and it was a great learning experience for us. It was a great time for our creators. They got to really understand and familiarize themselves with the platform, and we got to see great success. So I thought, as a marketer, and someone that has built a platform and been a part of a team that's built something great, what better initial case study than one we've built and executed ourselves?
Absolutely. Very interesting, very insightful. Great to know, and it worked, right? So that's the most important
Mm-hmm.
thing at the end of the day, right? So uh, really insightful. I think I'll move the questions more towards more execution side of things, which you
Mm-hmm.
do as operating as an influencer marketer, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
can tell me that what are the top three KPIs you consider as an influencer marketing manager?
It's great. And that's something that changes all the time. I think the landscape of KPIs changes all the time. But I think obviously it's top line, it's brand awareness. So brand awareness comes in that impression count level. And I think that it's unique to look at the impression count there. And the reason that I say this is because influencer marketing, it is a top of funnel marketing approach.
Right.
So, do I think that influencer marketing has ways in which it can be executed in order to drive sales immediately for that instant gratification? Yes, absolutely, especially if done correctly. But do I think that influencer marketing is solely a bottom of the funnel play? No. So I think especially for small businesses, mid-sized businesses that are looking to really spread what their brand is, whether you're a new CPG product that just got put into Whole Foods, or whether you're a new store online and you really think that your styles are going to do great on social, what you need to do is you need to get that brand awareness and that concept out. And I think that influencer marketing is the best way to do it. It's cheaper than buying traditional ads across Meta, TikTok, YouTube, your Google Suites, and it puts a face to the name of the brand. And so that top level that I think of is brand awareness. The next level that I think of is content. So content generation. So influencer marketing at its core is creators, influencers creating content on behalf of your brand, whether they're following a script or creating content that they know their audience will engage in. But really what it does is it creates a piece of content that's marketable. And so that content is first deployed on their social channels, which is that first piece of marketing top of funnel. And then as a brand and as an entity, you can actually take and own that content and repurpose it on your social channels. So I think the content generation piece is absolutely my number two favorite KPI to look at, because if you can go out and find 50 creators to each make one piece of content, now you do not have to actually hire a digital marketing agency at $5,000 or whatever a month to create ads for you, because you've now deployed creators at 100, 200, 300, 500, $1,000 to make this content for you. Now you as a brand marketer, you can upload this to the ad buying channels, right? Your Facebook ad manager, your TikTok ad manager. It's very easy. And then you put money behind it. So I think that that's just another way to really loop around the traditional media buying and say, how can I do this, right? Without the big agencies and the fees and the retainers and all that stuff. So that's number two. And then number three, I would say, I want to say share, but I think what I'm going to say is the true just comment factor. So comments are something very important to look at because those are what get the conversation going. So if Samantha is posting about a specific brand and Samantha gets 1,000 comments, now that's 1,000 plus people that not only saw the post, but read the post and liked the post, but are inclined enough to actually comment. Now, granted, some of those comments are going to be people saying, Samantha, you look great. Samantha, really cool post. Samantha, fire emoji, something light like that. But there might also be, let's say, 80% of that. So 800 people saying, Samantha, I love this product. Samantha, this is so cool. Samantha, thank you for sharing this with us. And as a brand, now you have the ability to go in, whether this is Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, on social. You can now respond to those comments. So if I'm going back to the example, if I'm the sunglass brand, and someone posts a photo and everyone's like, these sunglasses are so cool. What I could do from the brand account is go into the influencer post and then look at the comments and reply to those comments and say, hey, thanks for liking these. Come check out our page. Here's a 10% off discount code. Hey, we'd love to send you something, right? A free offer. Hey, come to our page and download this resource guide or download this, or we want to give you this free value. And now you're actually getting brand affinity through the comment section from your own tone of voice. So I think to wrap it up, we're going to go with impressions, number one KPI, number two KPI, amount of content and quality of content, amount of quality content. Three, amount of comments that are actually driving conversation around your product. Those are the three most valuable KPI metrics to look at in top of funnel influencer marketing.
Got it. Spot on. I think you covered it exhaustively. So great to know your perspective there. I think we covered in depth in terms of that. What are the things we should look for when we are, say, doing any influencer marketing campaign, and these are the top three KPIs we should be aiming towards, right? But I'm pretty sure that doing that at scale, right, there would be a lot of pain points which you face, right? So what is the toughest part about managing influencer marketing campaigns at scale, as per you?
Ooh, especially, I mean, I'm going to look through in my head here. I'm going to calculate all the data because there have been thousands of campaigns posted and deployed through our platform, and we have worked with hundreds and hundreds of brands to learn that question. So I think the first thing, and I'm going to speak for the cumulative hundreds of brands we've worked with. So the first large pain point is finding the right ideal creators. So not only are there tens of millions of social media users, but there's about 17 million annual new creators just in the US. So of that, what percentage of them have enough following to be considered an influencer? And then what percentage of them are right for your brand? So finding that right creator that's perfect for your brand, I think at scale, that's very difficult because someone may look very good at face value. Let's say that we want to sell, thinking of a good example here, we want to sell a new bikini top and we work for a outdoor women's wear bikini brand. And as a brand marketer thinking influencer marketing, our first thought is to go directly towards a fitness lifestyle female creator on Instagram because she posts photos in bikinis and doing her lifestyle fitness posts. But it's actually up to the marketer to not only look at the creator and say, yes, they're perfect for this, but look at a bunch of creators that are similar to that creator and say, which of these has the following that is most like my ideal customer profile. And so once you take it under the hood and look at the advanced audience insights like we offer on the Gluey platform, you're actually able to see, okay, what percentage of these followers are female? Maybe Samantha has 90% male followers and only 10% female. But Rebecca, her friend, might have 70% female followers and 30% male. In that case, Rebecca's a better creator to choose. So getting deeper under the hood and understanding the creators themselves and their audience, the sociographic, ethnographic, etc., data behind that is quintessential. And then the next pain point is really just like the whole campaign process flow. So like traditionally, people would go out, they would find a creator on Instagram, find their link in bio, go find an email, send them an email. Hey, I want to work with you. Boom, boom, boom. It's all over email. Everything from the contracting, very difficult, to the payments, even more difficult. Some brands have to 1099 creators because they're paying them out of different accounts. So I think that the campaign management process, which is something that we've looked at extensively to perfect through our own technology, is something that solves countless time, effort, and energy for brands. And that's what I think every brand should strive to have is a campaign management process flow that is understandable, scalable, and report onable.
Got it. Any other third pain point as well, just to summarize
While we're
that?
here, yeah, let's get a third. Um, a third pain point is definitely working with creators over and over and over. So without proper systems in place, it's kind of hard to maintain the long-term partnership with creators. So we've seen great success with brands that come back monthly to work with creators, quarterly, annually, etc. Doing a one-off deal is great. It tests the waters. You get to see success, maybe in short term, but finding creators that really resonate with your brand tone, your brand identity, and your ideal customer profile, those are the creators that you should strive to stick with time and time again. But it's not easy. I mean, creators, like everyone, like movie stars, they go off on new projects, they work with new brands. If you don't have long-term contracts, they might work with a competitor, they might work with an array of other people, and their price might skyrocket between now and the next time you talk to them if you don't do it right on the front end.
Right. Got it. So I think that's also a very interesting piece, right? Because it's a lot of back and forth or operational heavy process, right? Generally contacting creators and getting it online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you are to maintain a long-term partnership with them, you need to have a visualization that how frequently you will be running those campaigns as well, and to seamlessly do it across for a brand. It's I think monumental effort, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I understood your perspective on pain points as well. And you have worked with, say, hundreds of brands already, right? So one of the
Mm-hmm.
interesting things which you might have a perspective on is that what do these SMEs or the brands you have worked with mostly do for driving an influencer marketing campaign, right? So of course they might be using certain tools, right? They might be using platform like yours, right? They might
Mm-hmm.
be doing it internally with their own internal teams or hiring freelancers
Mm-hmm.
to do it or even hiring full stack agencies to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen is the most popular way influencer marketing campaigns are structured right now in brands?
So yeah, it comes at different tiers. So if brands, let's say if they have more than about like $25,000 per month to spend, typically, and that's per month. So that scales out to 300K annual.
Okay.
So typically, those brands will be working with larger scale agencies. Those agencies are solely focused on writing the creator briefs, writing the entire campaign description, going out and sending that off to talent agencies and your creator influencer agencies alike, and really working kind of head on with that top level and saying those are the types of brands that might work with two creators a month at $12,000 each. Whereas once you break that down, I'd say brands that are spending about 10 to 15,000 per month, they have an in-house team, so a social media manager or social media managers plural, that have an allocated amount of spend per month. And that's not ad spend. This is just social spend. And that social spend is eligible to do a variety of things, but the primary spend within that bucket is influencer marketing. So typically, when we see brands that have social teams stood up and actually full-time employees, one, two, three, four people in those departments, we see them to have a much larger spend and focus in-house on influencer marketing. And then as we bring it lower, then we get to general teams, maybe those that want to spend 1,000 to 5,000 per month on influencer marketing and general marketing, content marketing, etc. These are just marketing teams themselves that are in-house. So they haven't spun off a social department. Maybe it's one intern, one person that's running the social pages and management of ad accounts, or social pages, ad accounts, and email marketing, right? Like different silos, but kind of a multi-factor, multi-purpose marketer. That person will come in with a little smaller budget and they'll say, hey, I want to do influencer marketing. And then below that, now we have the business owners themselves, whether it's one, two, three, four, five people, I'd say five or less on a team, and they're wanting to explore influencer marketing themselves. So they see it as an avenue and a channel of marketing and media buying, and they want to experience it themselves and try it out. Those are the ones that are doing it. So they're the founder, they're the CEO, they set up the shop, they own the Shopify, they do all these things, which is a true jack of all trades. These are people that we look up to and love, and people that use our platform every single day. And those are the ones that are doing it themselves, using tech stacks, using pieces of technology, because traditionally, like we talked about moments ago, they don't have time to reach out to these creators organically and email them and create a contract and find a payment processing system that works. They want this done. They want it done effectively. They want it done through technology, and they want it done in a way that can prove return and results that is scalable.
Got it. I think that sort of encapsulates your target audience as well, right? That who would be probably the main users of your platform as well. I think moving on to the last segment of this, right, which is influencer marketing relatively is, say, slightly newer version of marketing, right? Still, looking ahead, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for influencer marketing? What are the biggest challenges, or how do you see the influencer marketing industry shape up in the future?
Yeah, I think that it's only going up from here. I mean, $16.4 billion look for the year 2023. That's pretty big. I mean, that's expected to grow anywhere from 22 to 27% as 2024 rolls in. So not only from an economic perspective and the spend that's going into that on a global scale, but also on a user level. So I think that we're going to see a lot more people actually take on this role of creator and influencer, as those roles will kind of start to blend together. And I think that with new avenues and channels of social media that will come out, I think that we're going to start to see a lot more people gain following at a rapid rate and really fit into those shoes of like, yeah, I have a following. Yeah, I want to work with brands. Yeah, I want to do this. So more people will become creators and they will become adapt and eligible to start monetizing in that realm, and they'll start to love that. And I think we're going to see a lot more people taking the leap to full-time monetize their socials and what they're doing. And I think what that does is that really sparks fire in the realm of entrepreneurship and creativity, because you are now able to create content. And with platforms like X, formerly Twitter, creating their monetization revenue stream, creators are getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars to tweet or make posts on X, however you want to call it. I think more platforms are going to come out with monetization avenues like that. And we're going to start to see this idea of being a content creator much more, not that it's not accepted, but much more common in a Gen Z and millennial audience. And then on the brand side, I think that brands are going to see it more. So like right now, if there's a full marketing pie and you have X amount of money, 5% of that might go to influencer marketing. If your brand likes influencer marketing and wants to do it, I think we're going to start to see that at the 20 to 25%. So the marketing budgets themselves, they're going to start to experiment more, because your traditional buying platforms are a little more saturated than they were in the past. And I think that working with real creators and doing it in a formal way is something that is going to become a lot more frequent and common in the brand space, especially for people starting new Shopify stores, e-commerce brands, brands that are getting out and trying to get exposure to get to that next level. I think this is going to be a tool and a vehicle of marketing and advertising that will be widely known and widely well respected, and will be marketers go to at a certain threshold in their business.
No, I think I agree with most of what you said there, right? Very optimistic with regard to the future for influencer marketing. The pie is definitely going to increase, as well as currently it's still the age of experimentation when it comes to influencer marketing, right? There would be a time when it becomes standardized for brands that this is a channel for growth, and they would start investing more and more there. So I think completely aligned with that vision as well.